All right. Hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Women of DECA online networking meetup. Thank you so much for everybody that has already tuned in. I'm sure that we are going to get a few more people piling in. I'm mindful of time that we try to keep this under an hour, so I'm not going to waste any time. I am going to jump straight into it, but I love how people are saying hello in the chat. So my ask of you is to just introduce yourself and where you're from. I know that we have people globally on the call, so even if you can just say hello and where you're living at the moment, not necessarily where you're from, but where are you based at the moment? Are you in Australia? Are you in Europe? Where are you in the world? I'd love to get a bit of an indication of who's on the call. If you could just put that in the chat. So we've got Elise based in Taiwan. Fantastic. Welcome. Thank you very much. Wow, I love seeing all the different places that people are tuning in. We've got somebody from Dubai. Fantastic. I've spent quite a bit of time in Dubai. I'll be back there in April. I was recently just in Hong Kong for Consensus, so that was fantastic. So loves to see all these people joining us. Let's get stuck right into is on the agenda today. So I'm going to do a short introduction of an overview of what is Women of DECA and what is the purpose of this event. Then we're going to jump into a fireside chat with Dinali, who is the operations manager for DECA. Then we're going to play a networking game. This networking game is designed, okay, for you to walk away with a support network, with some potential, a network that you're going to work together to support each other and whatever that may be. And it all kind of makes sense when we get to the networking game. But a lot of the times, what's really difficult is to, especially with online events, because a lot of the times these online events are very one way, just kind of information giving and not super interactive. So that's why we play the game. If you haven't used breakout rooms before, I put you randomly into breakout rooms with, depending on the number of people that we have, but I generally try to have 3 to 4. And then we have some questions that you're going to play and you're going to kind of have this small in-group conversation. I play this also in real life at some of the networking events that I host, and I'm taking this concept and I'm trying to apply it online. We had our first one that we did last month. This is the second one. So I'm open to any suggestions or feedback or just things that you really may liked about it. Then we'll come back into the main room. So bring everybody back in and we'll wrap it up. We'll do a little bit of a Q&A, a little bit of a share, and then we finish it. For anybody out that joined us a little bit later, just to FYI, this first part is being recorded. The fireside chat is being recorded. And then when we break into the networking game, I stop the recording. Nothing is recorded in the breakout rooms. So you don't have to worry about anything being recorded or shared. So what is DECA? So Women of DECA. So DECA stands for the Digital Economy Council of Australia. It used to formerly be known as the Blockchain Australia, which is our kind of association body here in Australia. As you can hear, my accent is not fully Australian. I'm from Canada, but I live in Australia. And so I'm a part of Women of DECA as their events lead, and we are a community-driven initiative to kind of empower more women in the digital economy. So it is essentially a group or an activation based here in Australia to kind of foster inclusion, education, and leadership. And we really kind of work on how can we network, how can we kind of provide mentorship, which is part of my initiative, Women in Digital Economy, which I'll talk about a little bit later, and some opportunities for growth. So if you want to get involved in DECA or anything that we're doing, you do have to be a member of DECA to be a part of Women of DECA group, okay, because we are an association, but you don't have to be a member to attend any of our kind of event activations. For example, we collaborate. You can attend different types of community events, the mentorship program, which I'm be running under Women in Digital Economy. So there's still lots of different ways that you can get involved in local meetups or online sessions such as this one today. So you can go ahead and kind of scan and see how you can get involved. Briefly, who am I? For those of you that have not had a chance to meet, my name is Danielle Marie. I should have probably put my name on this slide, but you can go ahead and scan that QR code, which is going to take you to my link tree, and you can connect with me on socials. As I mentioned, I'm the events lead for Women of DECA. I am the founder of Women in Digital Economy, which is my full-time passion project, or my passion project that I'm turning into my full-time initiative, where I am developing a mentorship program to help more women transition into the Web3 space through either, just learning about kind of how to start speculating or investing in the space and where they start, all the way to helping them transition their careers into the Web3 space. The founder of All Things Blockchain, which is a nonprofit association I founded in November 2020. It's one of the largest grassroots communities here in Australia. And then I have done a lot of other community activations, such as I sit on the ACS, which is the Australian Computer Society, on their blockchain committee, and I've won a couple of awards, the most recent one being the Diversity and Inclusion Leader of the Year. And my background in the blockchain space has been primarily in education. So the head blockchain trainer for a large training organization here in Australia called TAFE Queensland. So everything I do, as you can see, I do a lot in this space, and it's all around education, community building, mentorship, leadership, and just getting really involved in the community. So please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you if we are not already connected. So what is the purpose of today's event? Today's event, the purpose is to connect and empower and inspire more women and allies to be adapting into this space, creating a safe space for networking, especially with online. I find it a little bit challenging. How do we connect with people globally in an online networking? I travel and I go to a lot of conferences, and it's a great way, and it's how I've kind of built my network globally. But if there was more opportunities to do that online, I think it would be fantastic. So that's the purpose of today's event, and it's an opportunity to share and connect and kind of build a global support system. All Things Blockchain, as I mentioned, the nonprofit I founded, we obviously work quite closely with them, and we have an event coming up next month. Now, all of our ATB events, All Things Blockchain, are based in Brisbane, but we also live stream them all. So for anybody that is not in Brisbane or wants to tap in remotely, you can do that. We also record them and share them, so you can always follow along there. DECA has different types of series of events. They just did a delegation to Japan. They've got the policy forum coming up. So you've got the digital economy conference. They're all based in Australia. So you can go ahead and scan that if you want to find out about some more upcoming events. The networking game, which we are going to jump back into after we have this quick fireside chat with Dinali, which we're going to jump into in just a moment. I will bring this slide back, so don't worry. This is just me giving you kind of a little bit of a heads up of what to expect once we finish the fireside chat. We are going to break off into smaller groups, and I give you some guided questions for you guys to discuss in the room so that you can share with what you do or what you want to do. What support do you currently need, and how can anybody that's in your group potentially help you? And that could be in making an introduction. It could be providing more information. It could be that you need more leads for your business. It could be anything. So we'll jump into this networking game after we have a conversation with Dinali Jay, who is the operations manager for DECA. So thank you so much, Dinali, for sharing your time and your story with us tonight. As we jump into this fireside chat with Dinali, she's going to give a little bit of a background overview of her background. She's going to be able to do it better than I can. Please, if you do have any questions as we go through tonight's session, please pop them in the chat. Love to answer them for you. We'd love to keep these sessions really super interactive. So if anything pops up as we kind of go through, please do not hesitate to ask at the end. All right, Dinali, thank you so much for joining us. Can you give us a brief little background on yourself in terms what you're currently doing, your current role, and then how you kind of got into crypto and how you kind of fell into what you were kind of doing previously? Kind of give us the overview.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me, Daniel. Yeah, so we are all very proud to see how you have grown this community. And I'm very happy to be here and talk to your community and the community you build. So I'm the operations manager of DECA and the founder and CEO of Easy AI. So as the operations manager of DECA, my focus is on leveraging automation and AI solutions to drive global growth. And I'm working on enhancing DECA's visibility worldwide. So, showcasing the leadership within our industry and expanding our member base globally. So, a key part of my role is optimizing operations by automating and streamlining processes, which also has been a significant part of my efforts since joining DECA. So, in addition, currently, I'm also the founder and CEO of Easy AI, where I focus on mainly providing AI-driven automation solutions to businesses across a variety of industries, such as legal, accounting, and real estate, and more. So what I did before and how I got into Web3 and AI is, so my journey into the tech space began with my academic background. I completed my bachelor's in IT and master's both in ICT, where during my master's in ICT studies, my fascination for the emerging technology space became very clear. And since then, I've been kind of in the emerging tech space, mostly because I was focused on the potential of the technology and the freedom it brings to humankind. So this kind of opened my eyes during these studies and over this period of time. So I was like, okay, I have to be in that emerging tech space. So from there, I began my career as a robotic process automation consultant and later worked at PwC in tech risk and cybersecurity, like working on cybersecurity projects. While I was working on cybersecurity projects, and then I got the opportunity to also do some research on blockchain technology. So I completely switched gears to working with blockchain startups. So yeah, I've been working across several blockchain startups since then, completely switching gears to consulting on strategy and advising on Web3 tech implementations. And so it was through this journey that my consulting business evolved, and I was working and helping Web3 companies during this time with strategy and tech implementation through that consulting business. And during that time, AI advancements developed, and I combined my solutions in providing using AI and automation in combination with other strategies and technology that I have been working with. So yeah, this is why I'm now offering most AI automation solutions to businesses across multiple sectors, not only Web3, because of the value add on. Also, it saves so much time and it makes sense to just expand providing those solutions across several businesses and sectors. And yeah, so with Easy AI and DECA, my focus revolves around like mainly revenue generation. So lead generation, driving fast, high volume conversions through mainly relationship building strategies, and of course, streamlining my manual tasks to save time and cost, as well as, of course, if there's any products or ideas in mind, helping to bring those ideas and products, developing SaaS platforms or mobile or web development applications, AI-powered applications. So yeah, I think I must have spoken
No, I think
way
it's
too much.
fantastic. Thank you well, no, I think it's important, and AI and automations and all of this is definitely a very, very hot topic. And I know that that was a lot of the reason why Blockchain Australia rebranded to the Digital Economy Council of Australia, and why, I went
Right.
with Women in Digital Economy, because how did you have an umbrella that could kind of uncover all of these technologies, and as AI, like automations are not necessarily anything new, but the way that AI has been
That's
advancing,
right.
these AI agents and the way that we're implementing them into businesses is changing. So I think that's definitely one sector that also, that we're very interested in helping people that are interested. And I'm sure there's probably somebody on this call that is interested in either learning about it, learning how to become a consultant, or hiring a consultant to implement these systems into their businesses because it is such a big hot topic and trend. And although that's not what today's session is about, it is about
Okay.
connecting people and helping them kind of learn. So we can always have a little bit of Q&A about some of those AI and automations. But what I want to tie it back into a few more questions before we, end the fireside chat and jump into the networking game is your role, although it's not specifically in, say, developing a Web3 application or developing a DApp or whatnot. It's more, if I'm understanding correctly, it's more that you're working alongside these projects that maybe are developing these products, these services that are in the Web3 and crypto space. And then you had to learn and understand about that industry and that technology in order to be able to service that or those clients, I guess, a little bit better, but to be able to understand how they can implement these different workflows and stuff into their business, correct?
That's right. With DECA, so not only I'm helping DECA with the automation and growth activities across DECA using automation, but also streamlining their operations. And we are saving a lot of time and costs with the applications like the membership portal and a couple of other applications that I have worked with DECA to implement. So yeah, streamlining operations through those applications that we built is definitely helpful. But at the moment, we have prioritized growth and definitely making sure like DECA's initiatives are global, and we are accessing entire market across the world. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the main priority. So I'm using automation and AI in order to be able to do it in a very in a smooth and efficient way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the goal, and to help, show the world what Australia is doing. Because what I hear most of the time is that Australia is very quiet. So we've got to change that. Yeah, so that's my goal with
Make
working with
more noise.
Dekai, making sure that yeah, we are making more noise.
Good. All right, one last question before we wrap it up and switch into the networking game. What advice do you have to anybody that is either new to both? Let's make this a two-part kind of question. New to maybe they've been in the Web3 space for a little bit, they're crypto savvy, as I think a lot of these people or some of the people that I know that I recognize on the call I know are crypto savvy, but maybe not so much AI savvy where or implementing these AI automations, is some recommendations for them to start? And then same for the people that are new onto the call that are looking to kind of transition, like you said, you had your consultancy business, but then you learned about blockchain, and then you kind of pivoted to learning more about blockchain so that you could basically service that clientele. What advice do you have for those people? So for each of those kind of categories, what kind of recommendations, whether it be advice or resources or tools that kind of helped you get started in both of those?
So, due to my limited time, and I didn't want to really talk in an elaborated manner, so I really dig deep into the blockchain technology about 7 years ago, learning from industry experts, technical experts. So I got to work across like a couple of startups where, I mean, anyone working in the blockchain industry are extremely knowledgeable. They are doing something like, if you talk with software engineers and technical experts, you'll be able to learn so much from them. So in addition to working with them, there's so many technology resources out there now more than ever. You can learn. So my advice for anyone wanting to enter the space would be to stay curious and embrace continuous learning. So technology is changing and it's evolving, and it's important to adapt constantly. Like especially in the blockchain space, we've got to keep updated on news and everything that's changing. So that's one of the key things about being in the blockchain space. We've got to keep updated on a daily basis. So sometimes taking at least an hour for reading is quite essential if you're just starting out.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, whether you're interested in AI, Web3, or any other emerging technology, understanding the core principles and how they can be applied to real world challenges is essential. And also don't hesitate to get hands-on experience when you're looking into the technology, and be curious and learn if you feel like coding or development, that's an option open to you as well. But other than that, like, yeah, be curious whether through internships or personal projects or even consulting, diving into that, practical side will help build the skills and insights needed to, succeed in this field. So, and of course, lastly, connecting with communities like DECA, Women of DECA provides invaluable networking opportunities and also resources for education. If you have a look at DECA website, we have an education hub that updates like education materials from our key members. So you could learn about any topic from there as well. And Daniel has more educational materials as well. Yeah, building relationships with others in the space is key to growth. Like, yeah, to be honest, like that's a game changer for me. From experience, like it's all about networking, in addition to, of course, learning.
Well, you just hit basically the two things that I specialize in. Professional networking is definitely one of the things that I do.
Yeah.
Naturally as a community builder and leader in the space, but also education. And so when I got into the space, I identified quite quickly that the same as you, I learned about it. I didn't come from a technical background. I knew that I had a steep learning curve ahead of me, but I knew that I could organize events from my background and of hospitality. And I just surrounded myself by a whole bunch of experts and started learning and became a teacher, because they always say the best way to become an expert at something is, maybe to teach it. And so then now that's kind of what I specialize in, is the education and building those networks in the community. And then the last thing that I'll touch on that you said that really resonated with me, and I think that everybody needs to make sure, if you didn't hear it, getting hands-on experience, internships. When I very first started, the amount of startups that I, had unpaid or got paid in their token that I knew most likely wasn't going to go anywhere, but on the off chance it did. But the amount of experience that I got from doing that short-term kind of work experience really helped accelerate my journey. And we have an internship program with Women in Digital Economy, which, as I mentioned at the when I went through my bio, that's my main project and I'm focusing on. So if anybody's interested in that, please reach out to me. We will have a program, and then we'll also be working with organizations that not only are going to be looking for talent acquisition, like that's one of the problems that we'll be solving for kind of like the Web3 ecosystem, but also, for interns to kind of gain that hands-on experience, and like, where do you go to find that, right? So I find that the Web3 space is a little bit different than the traditional kind of Web2 space, in terms of you don't really kind of go on to seek to find these opportunities. A lot of the time
Exactly.
they come from the networking. I actually don't think I couldn't even tell you the last time I like applied for a job like online, and it's always from the network and referrals. All right, well, we are going to wrap up the fireside chat part. As I mentioned, I think that we just had a few new people come in. But Denali, I want to say thank you so much for your time and sharing your
Thank you,
journey.
Daniel. Thanks so
If
much.
one last question before we wrap up and stop the recording part. If anybody does want to reach out to you, learn more about what you're doing in like AI automation, or they want to learn more about DECA, where's the best place for them to reach out to you? Do it LinkedIn, email? What's the best way to get in contact with you?
Please reach out to me on LinkedIn. I think that's the best way. I'll add my LinkedIn URL on the chat
Perfect.
here.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Got it.
And yeah, and lastly, I must say that Daniel has been a game changer to my, establishing myself in the blockchain space since I came back after a long, digital nomadic time across the blockchain industry about 2 years ago. Yeah, so Daniel is amazing. She helped me connect with so many in the blockchain space in Australia, since I felt quite new since leaving Australia about 4 years ago. Actually, now it's been like 6 years. And then coming back after about 2 years ago. Yeah, she's been a game changer since
Brilliant.
meeting her at a blockchain week, was it? I
I think it
think,
was
yeah.
BARCODE Week. Yeah, yeah, mate.
Blockchain week, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Daniel is amazing. If you want help in any way, she'll be there.
Well, thank you very much. I will be there, so you can also connect with me. Danielle Marie on LinkedIn will be one of the best ways if we're not already connected. But we will wrap up the fireside chat there. So thank you very much, Denali. I will definitely share the recording with you. And now we are going to jump into our networking game. So let me stop the recording.